y'all. We're doing a rhyme for rhyme freestyle. What if I started the song like this? What's up, guys?
That would
Welcome
be
back to the song.
Yeah.
At the beginning of every. All right.
Welcome to episode 17. Let's go.
Clear my throat.
Episode 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me and I said we feeling too mean and too green.
Yeah. You know we back with a dynamic team. Yeah.
We gon' grab your attention with this tractor beam.
Tractor beam.
Yeah.
Tractor beam.
Yeah. Well, we back. Yeah. Back with an episode.
Yeah. Y'all best be in a good mode.
Yeah. I hope you listen up. We talking bold.
Episode 17 by now we should be pros.
What we talking about? Who's in your circle?
Okay.
Did I do that? Steve Urkel.
Yeah, we did that, and we gon' keep doing it till we turn purple.
I'm steadily dropping these quotes, they too hard, like I'm Winston Churchill.
Oh man.
We back. We back. We back.
Episode 17.
Back with a brand new flow. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Frontline Youth Podcast. This is one of your hosts, Elijah Tijero. I'm here with my co-host, Elijah.
I don't know why it sounded super strange just now, but I'm back.
To drink water.
I do. I hope you guys enjoyed that little song right there. It's a bit of a freestyle thing, just because, you know, it's been a little minute since he had a song. It's been blitzes and then a pastor's perspective, so it's like, it's been a little minute.
Yes, it has. We didn't do a song since episode 13. 13.
Anyway, some of you guys have been very committed in listening, in commenting, you know, offering support. We had a challenge in one of the blitzes recently.
The last blitz.
Yeah, to go find this one part in another episode and to pin the time, and they would get their comment pinned, and somebody actually did it. That's some dedication. We're receiving new comments on like episode 2, people starting their listens through. So that's awesome. If you're that person that we're talking about listening at episode 2 and then you just got here or something, cool. Glad you made it. But yeah, very happy to have you guys. Glad you guys are enjoying the podcast. And remember, if you'd like to enjoy it a little bit more, don't let them questionnaires be dry. Instagram, email, YouTube comments, speak to us, you know?
Yeah, I know.
So.
Man, I don't know. We're back in person. I feel like the last few episodes we've done have been not in person.
I forgot I could do that. He just reminded me because he's here. He's talking about being here in person. Yeah. But yes, I have access to the soundboard now.
Go get the keyboard.
All right, y'all, give me 1 second. Isaiah's going to talk to you.
I am going to speak to you guys. Now, you guys, I have a bone to pick with you guys. A bone. I don't know where that phrase comes from at all, but listen up, y'all. When we put out stuff on Instagram, like, hey, what do you guys want to hear about? What did you think about the last episode? And you guys don't say anything? Don't mind that noise. It makes us wonder, like, are you guys even really invested in what we're doing here? Did any of that sound come through? All right. Elijah, make your presence known real quick.
I'm back.
You should take the space bar off.
Oh, yeah.
All right, it's off.
Technical difficulties have been resolved. We could have just restarted the whole thing, but y'all getting that candid podcast right now.
Because we real ones.
Because we too real. Oh, my God.
It's getting higher.
The high-pitched one. What in the... It's been a minute since I hit one of those. I'm not going to lie.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. All right.
Yeah. That's that one right there.
But yeah, welcome back to the podcast.
Yep.
How you guys doing? Tell me right now. Oh, you doing good? Oh, you doing bad? I know you ain't saying nothing. I know I'm over here talking to myself.
But we're going to get it popping.
Yeah, we're going to get it popping. Dang it, I hit the wrong button. Dang it. I was trying to repeat the gong sound that I said just
That
did.
was
All
so
right.
sad.
So, are we coming to y'all with some heat or what?
We're gonna find out.
You're going to find out. The answer better be yes, regardless of how good or bad this episode is. Now, we're going to get into this topic.
Yeah, it only takes us, about 30 minutes before we start.
This is the best part. It's got all the content.
The intro, the
Yeah.
housekeeping. Send this to your friends. Send a podcast episode that you like to your friends. All right, bye.
All right.
Let's move on.
So I wanted to discuss these topics that are led by these Bible verses here, right?
Yeah.
One of them is first, and these are popularly referenced. So one of them
Wait.
is
Let's hit the references first before we read out the whole verse.
word. What do you mean?
Like for the second one, just that one part.
Oh yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
because sometimes Bible verses can be wordy and long, and people will just say one part of it, like
Money is the root of all evil.
or of all kinds of evil. Or there's one about the faith of a mustard seed. I know basically the gist of that scripture is that if you have faith even like a mustard seed, you have power to do all things from on high in the faith of the Lord or whatever. But basically, it's saying that if you place even a small bit of faith in God, then there's a lot that you can do. Now, do I know the whole scripture? No. But when I reference it or when other people reference it, it's just you say faith like a mustard seed and that's it. Right?
Yes, but sometimes you can get yourself in a pickle because you only know the shortened version,
That's very true.
Because
I'm having too much fun with this.
I know a
soundboard.
lot of people are always like, I don't understand Christianity. What, they want us to be broke? They say money's the root of all evil. That doesn't make any sense. That's not what the verse says.
No.
It says the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil or whatever.
Facts.
So it's like if you are like putting your trust and your love into your dollars, that's where all kinds of evil comes in. Because then you know what I'm talking about. Think about it. Think about the supervillain of the world right now, Elon. He's talking about blowing up Mars.
Oh my God.
Why does he want to do that?
But it's crazy is one of the only things between a man and destroying Mars is money.
Yeah.
So that's a crazy thing to say, but it's true. Now, that was completely for free because that's not even part of the topic talking about money. But
Right, but it was an analogous to how this verse is perceived also.
right. So I'm going to read part of this verse that's referenced often. Later on when we're getting really deep into the meaning, we're going to read the whole thing so y'all can hear it.
Yeah.
So this is, and don't go to it right now, all right? But this is the end of 1 Corinthians 5:11. Don't even eat with such a person. Not to even eat with such a person is what it says, right? And it lists a variety of different types of sinful people. Don't even eat with them. Don't even sit down and eat with them.
Yeah.
Another one. This is also in 1 Corinthians. It's 15:33. Evil company corrupts good habits. He tried to do this, yo. He missed. He's not like me. He can't hit the button like me because I'm like that.
Evil company corrupts good habits, y'all.
Yeah. So these are two commonly referenced subjects, or commonly referenced scriptures when speaking on the subject of association with peers as Christians. So, as Christians, are there rules as to who we can and cannot hang out with? Are we allowed to hang with certain people? Because it says in the Bible, don't even eat with these people, and evil company is going to corrupt your good habits. So what does that really mean?
You're asking me?
I'm asking you.
It means to mind your circle, I guess. In the simplest of terms. Be wary of who you hang around, because oftentimes you will emulate who you hang around, I guess.
Right.
A simple example is like sometimes you start to talk like the people you're around. I remember I was taking the shuttle back to the parking lot on my campus to go get my car, and I'm talking with the driver, and he's like, yeah, I was in the Navy actually. I was
Actually.
in the Navy. You know, because I don't in Spring Lake or
In the
in North
Navy.
Carolina, I have not met a lot of Navy.
Right.
That's usually over on the coast where we lived in Newport News and whatever.
Virginia.
That's where the Navy
Hallelujah.
is at. Anyway, but anyway, he's talking, and I'm like, really? Not like that, but I'm noticing it in my voice. I'm like, what is going on?
Really?
I don't
You're
have
in the
an
doggone Navy? Well, I ought to slap my grandpappy.
Shut up. No. I was talking in like some kind of variation of an accent that I don't have, and it's only because he had one.
Right. So it's like it was reflecting off of what he was doing.
Mm-hmm. Or when we went to Tobago or Trinidad, I don't remember which one we were in, and we were with that pastor and they were from the UK.
Right.
And I talked. Hey, my accent was pretty good, but I was talking in a British accent for some reason.
What?
All
Could you
right.
go back and retrieve the trolley? But yeah. Sometimes you pick up things from the people you're around.
Elijah definitely didn't.
And all right, in a more extreme case, I see, like there's a guy I've known at school in freshman year. I'm a Christian, and you know I follow by Christian standards to my understanding. I want to be right with God and continue doing what I got to do. And I was weirded out because I was like, oh my gosh, this dude is super Christian. Not that he's very Christian in character, but he was very openly religious all the time and like talked loudly about it to everybody. Like, oh yeah, I have the best pastor and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then as the years went on, and I had started to become friends with him a little bit because I was like, all right, I got to help this dude to navigate through these waters before everybody thinks he's a doofus. If he's actually saved, he could have something good to share with other people, but he just need to learn how to share it before he gets put off by people who think he's crazy. Anyway, so I was starting to build a friendship with this guy, but over time, as he's hanging out with certain people, all of a sudden his language changes, his style of dress changes, he's cursing, he's talking about like that show Euphoria and stuff, and he's like, oh yeah, man, I've been watching, that's so crazy. I'm like, man, you used to tell me not to I don't know, do the whip and the nay because that wasn't right or whatever. And I'm not hating on him for having convictions, but I'm hating on him for dropping them. But
Not hating on him.
not hating on
It's
him.
unfortunate.
Yes, I'm speaking on the fact that he. So I remember I asked him, I was like, "Hey man, so what happened? Why are you talking about this and saying these things when you used to never say them, and do these things?" And he was like, "Oh, well, you know, I'm just, things are a little different now." And I was like, "Yeah, but you said it was because of your faith. So like, you dropped that or what?" And he was like, "Nah, it's just, you know, I'm coming out of my shell." That's what he said. I didn't really know what to say. So that conversation ended kind of weird. He's still all right, but you know, I don't really talk to him like that. But coming out of his shell, which is a phrase that is usually meant to say becoming more social, being more friendly, being more connected with other people. To him, that process involved dropping some of his convictions as a Christian. So now, even though that was my only impression of him when I first met him, now if I saw him, I would be like, I would have no idea that he was a Christian or had a Christian background or whatever. Like, it has nothing to do with him in my eyes. So the company that he was keeping, I guess, was corrupting his good habits. But yeah, that is one long example of, you know, reflecting the actions of the people around you for a certain purpose.
Yeah.
So I guess that's real, you know, not I guess, that's real, what the Bible be talking about. Evil company corrupting good habits. There's people all around you that influence you every day, whether it be your family, your friends, people on the internet. You get that influence all the time. And so depending on what you're allowing to influence you, certain things about you might change.
Right.
Now, it's also a common idea that I've heard within different churches or just among different people who are Christians, that once you get saved, like once you go from living a life of sin to making a decision to live for God, that you need to start cutting people off.
Okay.
So, like you just have to stop being friends with certain people? Question mark?
It's a difficult question.
Let's talk about it.
I think it's more the capacity in which you associate with them has to change in some way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you and your friends are friends because you guys always hang out at the club together.
The club.
The club. That's it. The club. So y'all at the club.
Oh, so you at the club.
You guys met at the club.
The
You guys
club.
always hang out at the club. His birthday party, when you went to his birthday party, it was at the club.
Yeah.
When he said, "Hey, bro, let me plan your birthday party for you. We can have a good time." It was at the club.
Right.
That's your club friend.
Mm.
And now it's like, okay, if I'm gonna keep being friends with you, everything that we used to do can't even be the same.
Yeah.
It's like, will we even be friends after that?
Mm.
You know, if I'm changing the way that I want to live my life,
Uh-huh.
and I'm changing the things that I do, and my convictions are now making themselves known, and it's like, I don't want to do XYZ anymore. If you always want to do those things, I'm not going to be like, well, all right, because you're my friend. It might have to be like, all right, dog, I'm not doing that.
So it's more about cutting off certain activities?
It's more about not compromising your salvation for the sake of, I don't know, being accepted.
Right.
You know? You can't put a friendship above your relationship with God. That's not gonna work.
Right. So what I wanted to comment about, because that is definitely very true, and some of these questions that I'll be asking, I'm asking in general, but I do want to talk about how sometimes your friendship with a person, depending on how you're acting now, don't take this the wrong way, but depending on what the nature of your relationship is like, it might not put you at that ultimatum between your relationship with God and having this friendship.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've heard before and kind of raised my eyebrow a little bit at people telling stories of like people that they've known or people that they see at school or at work or something. And it's like, yeah, I can't stand them, because they just be smoking and listening to that secular music. And those things are can be bad. Right. But those things can be bad, or they go into the club and but the attitude of disgust and disrespect towards these people, now that you have made new and maybe friends with better values within the church or within your circle of saved friends, you know what I'm saying? Like that, I don't think that comes off the right way as Christians. If when you get saved, you're like, all right, everything that you do disgusts me. Don't even talk to me, bro. You're nasty. Now, do you stop doing those things? Yeah. Do you stop putting yourself in the situations like, hey, I'm not going to the club, so so let's not do that. Yeah, I think that's what you should do. But what am I saying here? Don't terminate the relationship just for the sake of terminating it, because that's going to set that person way off. And I think that's kind of unnatural that, there are people that you've known, they're family members, people that you grow up with, and then you get saved. It's not like you just drop them off unless they're causing an issue to your, because that's awkward. It's like, all right, I'm not talking to you anymore, Mom. I hate you because you sin. But at the same time, don't keep going to the club with that fool.
Right.
Don't be Go ahead.
You might have an opportunity, since you're close to this person already, to perhaps cause them to think about their decisions, and instead of being tempted to go to the club, you might tempt them, convince them, persuade them.
That's a good word.
To come to church, or to get saved, or to change their life.
Come to Bible study.
Right, or frontline youth ministry. Or
something
crazy like that.
Something weird
Something
like that.
Crazy,
anyway.
something weird like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
it could be a good thing. It's not always going to necessarily be like, let me stop talking to these people before I become a sinner again.
Right.
You know, that's not a guarantee.
But there are some truths to the statement. So who do you necessarily need to cut off, in your opinion?
People that are always trying to get you to do wrong.
How do you mean?
People that peer pressurers.
Mm.
You know what I mean? There are those individuals, people that aren't really your friends.
Yeah, they just want to. They're hanging around you and they want to see you do stuff to entertain them.
Yeah, or whatever. They want you to do the wrong thing. Some people, I've heard, when they hear you're a Christian, they don't really respect it. They're like, they see it as let me see if I can get this Christian to do crack.
Right?
Okay, not crack.
Not crack, but
Go
yeah,
to
as
the
we've talked
club.
about. Oh my gosh. But as we've talked about in some other episodes, a lot of people outside of the faith have a perspective of Christians that they're all hypocrites or that they're not really about it when it comes to making personal decisions, but they only profess this faith in order to talk down on others and feel good about themselves. And so I think a lot of people, they might not even be a Disney villain per se, but they are trying to confirm the idea that's in their head by trying to get you to do stuff because it's like, oh, let me see if this dude's really about it. Hey, bro, just hit it just once. Like just take one hit, man. It's not going to kill you. Like sometimes they just want to see what you're going to do, not because they want to ruin your life, but because they want to see.
Yeah.
They want to see what you're about. And certain people like that, yes, it might definitely be best to keep your distance from, whether that be in text conversations or in hanging out multiple times a week or whatever. Or sometimes even with there will be people who got like a love interest, but not a love interest, but like a bad love interest, like a lust interest. You know what I'm saying? Like there's this lady at work and you're married, right? And you get saved and there's this lady at work that's always like, hey, you been to the donut party in cubicle 13? Like, you should come with me. You know what I'm saying? That's trying to pull one over on you. It's good to stay away from people who are trying to catch you in the trap.
For real. Cause, well, no, go ahead. Keep going.
It's not like, oh, they need to be judged. Stay back from me. But it's like this is an unhealthy relationship.
Yeah.
They have no respect for the goal that you're trying to go for. You've been respectful with them. Hopefully, you've spoken to them kindly. Like, hey, man, I don't want to go to the club anymore with you.
The club.
We can go do this, we can do that, but I'm not going to be participating in these activities. And if they just refuse to respect your decision regarding that, a decision that you're making about yourself and what you're going to do with your own time, then they're not really that great of friends in the first place. And so it's not even like in a really, what's the word? Legalistic or lawful base like that it's like you need to cut them off, but it's just better for you. It's better for you personally and for your salvation, because these people might be the very ones who drag it down.
Dangerous.
Facts. But yeah, I think it is okay to have real relationships with people who aren't saved. I think that's regular and that's real, but you just need to be careful what you're doing with them, what they cause you to think, say, and do. And if they're constantly causing you to think, say, and do things that you know aren't right, then you need to take a step back. But other than that, your greatest tool towards bringing them to know God is your relationship with them that you had already. It's not even funky to have one of those.
Yeah. I don't have the notes on me, so I'm following along with you.
Next is the Jesus thing that I want to talk about. So, like we mentioned earlier, 1 Corinthians 5:11 mentions not even to sit down and eat with a bunch of various people who are sinful, right? It lists a bunch of different types of sinful people. It says it's not even right to sit down and eat with them, or it's not even good to. But even as the Pharisees said in the Bible, the religious people in the town when Jesus was around on earth, they said, why is Jesus going and eating dinner with tax collectors and sinners? So from an outside point of view, it's like, hold on, what is this holy, righteous Messiah of the world doing, pulling up to the homie's house when I knew the homie just robbed 6 people last night? And he's cheating on his girl?
Oh, gosh. Nah, I'm not sitting with you either. You go eat alone.
Okay, yeah. This is an anti-cheating podcast. If you're cheating, stop it.
Don't even listen. Not playing. Am I playing? You should listen. Maybe you'll learn something. Don't cheat.
Facts. That's for free, too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you know, because sometimes who you hang around on purpose, not the people you hanging around by circumstance, because Jesus didn't have to be all up in tax collectors' houses and sinners' houses.
Yeah.
But by his own choice, he was with them.
Right.
And someone can make the argument properly that the people you choose to hang around, the people you choose to hang around has something to say about you. Okay. So why would the Pharisees be wrong in this accusation that Jesus was tripping for hanging out with these tax collectors and sinners of his own volition?
Because Jesus had a reason to do these things. It doesn't make it doesn't make. Why do you keep cutting it off? Just let the sound go.
Because I don't want to be too obnoxious, but nah, never mind. You're not gonna have
it. His purpose was in order to incite change in those who he was hanging with. You know.
Yeah.
If we had this mentality about everything, then every time we'd go and invite maybe someone over to our house to a fellowship, or every time we pass out a flyer like, hey, come to the concert with us, but they're not saved, and we're like, dang, we can't invite you. Like, does that make any sense?
Yeah, no, not at all.
No, it doesn't. And then that, but then you can get all in the weeds with theology and whatnot, because you'll want to, I don't know, use the verse, well, I mean, don't even eat with this person. So what, I'm going to hang out, have fun at a concert with them?
Yeah.
Or whatever. And then that comes from not knowing what it says
right
in there. Because what does it say if it's time?
Yes, it is time. But now, this is 1 Corinthians 5:11, but now I've written to you not to keep company with anyone named a brother who is sexually immoral, covetous, or an idolater, or a reviler, or a drunkard, or an extortioner, not even to eat with such a person.
So what it's saying is you can't hang around hypocrites who say that they're saved, who say that they're a brother, if you will.
A brava.
But ain't really about it.
Hey, are y'all some bravas or what? You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, take that back. I take it back. I just wanted to say that.
All right, bro.
Now, if you're listening and you said yes.
Moving on.
100%
moving on. Maybe that'll be a future episode. I'm saying stop cutting off the vine booms.
Yeah, I know. My bad.
Like, just let it
ring out. Let it
ring out.
You're right. I'm impatient. Anyway, so it's not saying necessarily that you shouldn't associate with people who aren't saved, but that you should steer clear of hypocrites. Now, it's specifically talking about hypocrites like within the church. I was going to say within the faith. I guess that makes sense too. Mm-hmm. But, they could be sitting next to you in church. They could be posting next to you in your Christian blog, and everything seems all right, except that they have no intention of living right. They have no intention of following God, but it's just about looking good, feeling good while just being religious, but still sinful. And these people, the Bible says a little leaven leavens the whole lump. So they got the power to poison the whole church with these mindsets and activities,
That phrase is always so funny.
It's got too much L in it.
So much alliteration.
A little hold up.
Levin's a whole up.
A little leaven's a whole up.
Bum.
Yeah, we gonna drop the mixtape in a few weeks, y'all.
No.
We will not be dropping a mixtape. That was my alter ego speaking. I was gonna say, all right, yeah.
So when we look at that, sometimes, bro, you might have to look at yourself and realize, I'm acting like a Pharisee right now.
Dang.
Instead of like Jesus.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying? And we all know Pharisees the ops. So
which episode was it that we were talking about the heart behind doing things? We spoke about Kenneth Copeland.
Doing the right thing.
I think it's that one.
No, it is that one. I think it's 9.
Episode 9.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can quote scripture. Now, if y'all know anything about the Bible, you might know that the Bible, oh my gosh, that the devil quoted the Bible one time or a few times trying to tempt Jesus himself. And so you can do whatever you want and twist the words to your liking.
Right. I think we talked about this too in episode 2. And I would give an example, but they're there in episode 2. If you haven't heard it, go back, check it out. And if you forgot, check it out. But also, like, don't take anything I said or what Elijah said too seriously, because we're providing examples of how you could use Bible verses incorrectly. But like, I don't know. Some of y'all might be like, that makes a little sense. Like, no.
The word of God is God's mind. It stands on its own. If we try to take it and use it for our own purposes, like, let's say, I want to twist Bible scripture so it sounds better that I'm not giving or not tithing or something like that. Then there are a bunch of different places in the Bible saying that if you want to do that, you can fool people, and that will be your reward. That's what you get. You'll, like, oh, I want to get away with not tithing. Cool, you'll get away with it. But wait until you about to get judged before God. You think he's gonna forget? So it's like,
like Judas. That money's for the poor.
Yeah,
bro, he was stealing.
That's a great way to justify stealing, and you might get away with the stealing. It's gonna feel great when you can spend that extra money on that PS5 and
that money for me, the poor.
I mean, if he's the poor, technically, but that's that same thinking that people use to twist Bible scriptures. But you might get that PS5, and that's cool. Every single thing that God had for you, you're gonna miss out on because you're attempting to make your own way and then just live in sin, even within the church. That's poison.
Dangerous. Facts.
So this is why the Bible says to stay away from these certain kinds of people. It don't mean that just because a brother is gay at your school that you gotta run in the opposite direction, or just because you got a neighbor who won't stop smoking. We actually have some neighbors that be smoking it up. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean you sprint in the opposite direction when you see them. Now, if they're trying to do something to you or tempt you in a certain direction or offer you things that you shouldn't have, and it's becoming difficult for you to say no, take the liberty. You don't gotta whatchamacallit, try to, I'm standing my ground. I can't be rude to these people. If you're protecting your salvation truly, protect that salvation. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But it's more so speaking about those types of dangerous behaviors that will drag you down as a Christian.
Very good. What is our next point?
Wanted to talk about I'm just playing.
Oh my gosh.
Wanted to talk about
the club.
What about the different dynamics? Shout out to those of you who understand that reference. Dynamics in life. So
I wanted to speak.
I wanted to speak about the different dynamics in life.
Shut up, Pastor. Legendary.
Of keeping your circle. What of the composition of the people in your circle, like for example, if 90% of the people in my circle are of the opposite sex and or my age, No, not or. And my age. Right? And I'm single. Right?
Oh, so they can't be older?
Nah, because
Man.
that's illegal. I'm a minor still. I got a year.
Oh, you're right.
Weirdo. Come on, y'all.
Okay.
but
I thought you were hating on the elderly,
no.
saying they're unlovable.
Dang, that's deep.
We got a whole episode. No, we don't have a whole episode on that. That's in the forbidden episode. Never mind.
Dang, we'll get there though. The forbidden episode, which some of you know about, will be redone. It will.
It has to be.
If you were on this forbidden episode and you know what we're talking about to that level, you got to get on it.
Yeah.
Open your schedule. We
Please.
will fix the problems.
Yeah.
And it will be a fire episode.
Matter of fact, call to action right here, right now, in the middle of the episode. Because if you're at the middle of it, then that means you're a real one. If you are a listener and you are a woman in Christ, we need your opinion
Yes.
in one of these episodes.
And we need the questions that you want to be addressed in this episode.
Yes, like what you feel needs to be addressed that you don't think is adequately being addressed either in other areas that you've looked or by us.
Yeah, so all of your like, what about, and okay, but what do you think about, like those thoughts that you have to yourself, or those thoughts that you might come up to us in person and ask later? Ask them now in one of our forms of communication. If you're following the Instagram, DM. If you're on the YouTube, make a comment. What's the email for the Fly Podcast? We'll put it.
FrontlineYouthNC@gmail.com.
Okay, we will put it in the comments just in case. We'll review it and put it in the comments later and pin it. But yeah, you could
remember that.
You could send an email to that email if you got a question and you want it confidential, but you don't have Instagram.
And if you want to be, this is a call if you want to be on the episode, on an episode or in a blitz. That also is something that we are looking for. And I'm trying to get some new faces in here, some new voices. So, like, I know a lot of y'all were there for episode 12 with Katie, but I can't just have Katie come back on here. We gotta freshen up, get someone new. I'm talking about a fresh
Katie,
voice.
Dang, you getting dissed on the podcast.
She's not here. She ain't listening anyway.
You're right. If one of you guys listening knows her, confront her. Don't say we did it. You did it too. You're a part of the podcast,
All right.
Anyway, back to what we were saying.
Yes.
We are done with that, right? What we were just saying?
Yeah.
All right.
90% of your friend group is females.
Yeah.
Women, girls, whatever your age.
Is there an issue? Like, can you say there's probably something wrong if the only people I surround myself with are girls? The only
Something
people I talk
wrong?
to, the people I rely on, the people I
don't know. I feel like it's unfair to say,
okay.
honestly, because some people, I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like, for example, like Israel, our brother.
Hey,
In a lot of instances, his circle is mostly girls.
dang,
It's true.
got that W written.
No, that's exactly the opposite of what I'm trying to say.
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
That
y'all.
wasn't the purpose,
Hey, Israel, if you're listening, love you, man.
Yes, we miss you. Where you at? I'm about to start crying.
About to shed a tear. That's exactly what I was going to say. There I go, cutting it short again.
Stop it. But yeah, I don't think it's necessarily an issue, which goes back to what, episode 5, where it's like you got to figure out your convictions for yourself.
Right.
You feel me? It's not going to be the same answer for everybody. So for some people, it might be a problem where it's like you want to hang around all these girls on purpose.
Like, I ain't talking to no dudes.
Yeah.
I only want to talk to girls.
But that's not necessarily the case with everyone. Sometimes it's just,
Right.
your friend group. But I feel like that makes more sense in youth. Once you get older, like my age and whatnot, you should probably start looking for some fellow men to talk to.
Especially, let me hit this real quick. If you are married and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
are,
yeah,
let's say
yeah,
you're a married
yeah.
woman and you only ever talk to men anywhere, you got your husband worried. If you are a married man and you only ever talk to women and never talk to men, you got your wife worried, bro, or at least you should.
Yeah, that's true, bro.
That's a mess. Recently, and yeah, I'm gonna say it. Jeremiah just looked at me because he remembers something.
Oh, gosh.
Shout out to Jeremiah. Jeremiah, give us a word or two.
What up with you?
Yeah, so
Oh, gosh.
so recently we were at an event for a church, and there's some old friends there, some people, getting back into contact with, and some of the people who are only a few years older than me have just recently gotten married, right? So I'm talking to a few new couples, and there were times where it would be the girl or the wife that I was friends with before she got married, and she's trying to talk just like we did before she got married. And I'm like, nah, bro, we're joking too much. We're having too much fun here. I'm going to step back. And then they'll be like, oh, don't be lame. But like, bro, you don't need to keep me around no more. Like, we could be friends or whatever.
Well, you see,
But
this is
I don't
why
wanna-
we need a woman's perspective.
Yeah.
How do y'all feel about that?
Speaking them comments,
You
please.
feel me? Because then it feels, I don't know, then it feels like I'm cutting you off for no reason almost.
Right.
Like,
And so,
like you get married, you did something wrong, and now
Yeah.
you've lost all your friends.
yeah, and some of the people took it that way at this event that I'm speaking of, and they were like, "Oh man, don't be lame. Like just because I'm married now, don't mean we can't be friends." I think that's facts. A lot of my good friends are married, and I love to talk with them and hang out and whatever, but I don't want to cross any boundaries to the point where I'm putting stress on that relationship, because it is much more important than their relationship with me. Just like how, we said sometimes it's good to step back from people who are dragging away from your relationship with God, because even though a relationship with them might be very important to you, your relationship with God needs to come first. It's kind of the same way with these married people. Because it's like, yes, I understand we're good friends, but if I even cause a tack of a problem with your spouse, let me step back, bro. It ain't no problem for me.
Word.
Because I don't want to see new couples fail. If y'all newly married and we're in your ears right now, stay strong. Pray for your spouse. Love them. Facts.
And if you feel like you need some assistance, don't be scared to talk to your pastor. I think we've talked about this in episode 15. We talked about the level of involvement that you may want or not want from your pastor, but that doesn't mean be scared of some godly counsel. It's not a good idea. You know what I mean?
Yes.
At our church, if you're at our church, Spring Lake, North Carolina, or if you've been here before and you didn't know, there are marriage classes every other Tuesday at the church that they could bless your life, bro. If you're
Big
struggling
facts.
with your marriage, bro, you might need some fellow married people to be like, yeah, man, I remember I was having trouble with my husband where I would fight him every day. And
I mean, let me not laugh.
Sword
'Cause
fight.
That's real. Okay. Maybe not that. Maybe that's hopefully not real.
night battle.
How many sword fights can you have
Duels.
before one of you guys is in the
Gets
hospital?
cut?
Yeah.
One of
Anyway.
My ear.
Ah!
My ear, Jesus. All
All right.
that was a Peter reference.
Shout out to
Peter, the ear cutter offer.
All right. So we've talked a lot about how the people and the circles with which you associate can be harmful to your salvation or your marriage, or just not conducive to the goals that you want to reach, and what you do about stepping away from those people. But on the other end of the spectrum, what kinds of social groups would you like to step into? What things are useful and are conducive to you reaching your goals as a Christian, or even just as a person? So, within our fellowship of churches, and likely some others as well, because it's based on stuff that's said in the Bible. They say you should always look for people who will keep you accountable, and that as a new convert and as just a Christian in general, that discipleship is very important. What are these things? What is accountability, and why is it useful, Isaiah?
Accountability is when you are being accountable.
Ooh. All right, guys, that's the episode. have a nice one.
But I have to, just define it? The definition?
Talk about it. What does it mean? What's it useful for?
Accountability. Oh, you mean like, okay.
Not the word definition. In episode 4, what was he defining?
He was defining pioneer. Someone who does something new. Who goes out on their
blazes
own.
the trail. Shout out to our dad. Genius.
Oh my gosh, that episode was funny. But also very, very valuable. Great information. What's the secret word? Wallet. But yeah. Accountability. I hate when you cut that off. All right. Accountability as a concept has to do with having those around you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe they're aware of your personal convictions and they can, well, hold you accountable, as it were. So essentially, it'll be like they are people that you can trust to help you in your Christian walk, as they also are walking the walk.
Dang, walking
Bro,
that walk.
I'm trash. But you get what I'm saying. Thank you. Stop.
I was looking for more like fake applause because that sounded like real. Anyway, we only have one applause button. But yeah, the people that help you to keep your convictions, to stay on top of your walk with the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it is important to keep people around that are going to do that for you.
Right.
Because it's the opposite of what we were talking about before. There are certain people who are always going to try to pull you away from doing the right thing, and it makes it a lot harder for you to live for God. But when there are people around you who are always trying to help you get closer to God, it makes it a lot easier, a lot lighter of a load, because you're not trying to carry it by yourself.
Right.
People checking in on you, people that you can have fun with and hang out with, and you don't have to worry about them dropping these pressures on you, and it's useful.
Yeah.
And so now I want to talk about discipleship, though, because they talk about discipleship all the time too.
Mm-hmm.
Who are the disciples in the Bible? The most famous ones.
Peter.
I mean,
James.
like the group of them.
The 12
The 12 disciples of whom, though?
of Jesus.
So what was their relationship to Jesus that was this special thing that they're disciples and that other people are just people?
His homeboys.
Dang.
No, I'm playing.
Who did the young people pick?
Oh my gosh. They were his disciples. What do you mean? It's disciple in the literal sense of the word, where they're his students. They're learning from Jesus how to live, what it means to be a Christian before that was even a term. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was their relationship. They were students.
But
of
what
Jesus.
makes them students? Like, they didn't sign up.
They did.
Well, I mean, they did sign up, but like not on paper. They weren't like, yeah, I'd like to enroll in Jesus 173.
Okay. They were called, I guess. Jesus was like, hey, you gonna follow me?
Yeah.
And they said, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So it's they were disciples to Jesus because they chose to follow him. They were students of Jesus because they chose that he would be the person that they want to learn from.
Right.
And that's real. Like we said before, there can be influences that you get drawn on by the people around you. That is not a sentence that makes sense.
Nope.
You will tend to adopt certain characteristics, whether it be in speech or demeanor or conduct, from those who you associate with, especially those who you associate with on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be a good thing or a bad thing. Like Pastor Scott always says, shout out Pastor Scott. I know you're listening.
You said his name.
Yeah, we said it in the last one. I feel like he can be mentioned now that he's on episode 15.
Fine.
He's a public character. If y'all don't know about him, go back to that episode. It's pretty good.
Okay.
But like he always says, there's good kinds of peer pressure. If people are always pressuring you to pray, and people are pressuring you to love the Lord and whatnot and do all the things that come with that, that's cool. And it makes it easier. You have more motivation because it's like, dang, my friends want me to pray. Dang, my friends want me to come to this weird old little Bible study. And you go, and you might have a good time, and whatever. But in the case of Jesus and the disciples, they chose to follow him, and then he put the influence on them to live it in a certain way. Like he instructed them on how to be righteous and how to win souls for the Lord and how to pray for people, how to care for people, how to be humble and not prideful. And those are real lessons. And so it's good to keep people in your circle that you can be a disciple to.
Yeah. For example,
whoa. Excuse me. I was Can y'all hear me? I'm not like close to the mic. For example, I hear you. I hear you.
Elijah wants me to tell this story.
Yes, I do.
Or explain this situation, I guess, kind of. So, recently, I had some things I didn't know what to do about.
He had some stuff on his mind.
I had some things on my mind. Yes,
on his plate.
Because I wanted to make sure that the way that I handled this particular situation was the right way. You feel me?
I feel you.
You feel me? All right, so
I'm dying in here. All right, sorry, y'all.
Sorry, you guys.
Nobody's gonna get the reference, so I'm sorry about that.
So then, what I did was I said, you know what? Let me go speak with a pastor.
Ooh.
One who I trust.
Ooh.
That isn't my dad, because that's just awkward.
Ooh. Sorry, Dad. Get out of here. You canceled. All right.
So I went.
Decided to speak to the pastor.
And I went to speak with him. And I don't know, I guess this is me taking something that I wasn't sure about and taking it to someone who would hold me accountable to do the right thing. And also, I know is trustworthy, and I can, yes, trust.
Right. Yeah.
He's worthy of trust, if you will.
I feel you. And what's cool about that to me, and why I wanted you to include it in this very episode about your circle and, you know, the people that are your peers and your friends and whatever, is, and as opposed to another episode where you talk about how involved your pastor should be. But what I thought was cool, and the reason why I wanted to include it, is because you have a sort of friendly relationship with Pastor Scott in an uncanny way. Like, you guys talk a lot, even just if it's just to talk.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're hanging. And so, I mean, obviously you guys aren't like in the same position, whether in life or in the ministry, but still
Right.
there's a friendship that's there.
Uh-huh.
And so it's not like you were like, oh, let me go speak to the pastor, and you call up some dude that you've never even seen before and whatever. But nah, there was a relationship that was already there.
Yeah.
And he's one of the people in your circle per se.
True.
Which is cool. Keep you accountable. But and it was just what you guys talked about, and I know you don't want me to say this, but the nature of your relationship.
The nature of the relationship, you know, it wasn't even in a legalistic way,
bro,
actually.
It's
It
a
was
useful word.
The nature
it's
of
a
it.
useful word.
All right.
But it was just the way that your relationship works to where you knew that he was going to hold you accountable. It wasn't that he
Could
was
you
like,
possibly say the nature?
That's my only response. So
Just drive on the road. That's not a shortcut. Sorry, y'all.
Jeremiah's distracting us.
Jeremiah is stressing me out. About to blow his car up and fail the mission.
Anyway. I'm so sorry. But it's not like Pastor Scott is like, oh, I'm going to get him. I'm going to hold him accountable because that's what I do. But it's who you were to each other in this situation.
Yes.
The Nage. All right. Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask if you had any stories
Accountability.
that might have more details than the one I just told, because it was a real interaction, but like I can't tell y'all anything about it.
There was a time in this case, it was our dad, and it's not Pastor Scott. Even though honestly, it's simpler to see Pastor Scott as my pastor, because he's not also my dad. So if I talk to him, he's gonna do only pastor stuff and not pastor and dad stuff.
Yeah,
which is yeah. But anyway, a few years back, I got caught up in a funky situation where I did something that was not wrong, but it was questionable in its appearance, right?
sure.
Like the way that it looked from people on the outside was very, what in the world did you just do?
A few years ago,
Yeah, like
so
2019.
You can explain it, because I don't know what you're talking about, dog.
A friend of mine that is a girl was going through a crisis, and it was the middle of a summer day, I think. Not the middle of a summer day, it was the middle of a summer night. It was like 2 a.m, and I was up playing video games, and for whatever reason, it was in my mind to call this person, and I'm like, that's pretty weird. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna call them. And it happened to be like in the climax of a difficult moment, and then we were able to talk about it, and a crisis was averted just from the ability to have somebody to talk to in that scenario. But then this girl's mother comes into the room at the end of the conversation. Hey, who are you up talking to at whatever unholy hour of the morning? Now, y'all, I do understand that this is questionable. I'm not saying, yeah, I'll just be on the phone with girl in the middle of the night all the time. It was a very strange thing to do. I fully get that. It just happened to be what happened. But anyway, she told the truth about who she was talking on the phone with. And this person, her mother, I think contacted our dad, the pastor of the church, and contacted a bunch of other people in the church, because the next morning, dad comes into my room and he's like, hey, I heard you were on the phone with so-and-so in the middle of the night. And but here, right, my relationship with my dad, he's not going to let me go crazy and do stupid stuff as my dad and as my pastor, right? He's not going to let me go crazy and just do whatever I want. We be getting beat. Can I not say that on the podcast?
You can.
If I act crazy, there will be physical consequences.
Spankings, if you will.
Yeah, except not my butt or with a belt. Sometimes it just be
anyway.
Like, all right.
Get beat.
not in a alarming way. Don't worry,
Yes,
y'all.
our parents
In a
love
disciplinary
us,
way,
and
out
we
of
love
love.
them.
Now,
You feel me?
so he's not gonna let me do whatever I want. He ain't that kind of parent, right? And I told him the complete truth about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
There was accountability there to where somebody who knows me is able to be like, hey, Elijah, are you doing the right thing or are you tripping? And I got to answer to that. And so there was that, right? And that truth was communicated. And when I go back to church, there are certain ladies in the church that are looking at me funny. We were kind of new to the church at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Right.
like a lot of
I can't say racist.
no, you cannot. And it wasn't just white ladies
until
either.
that episode comes out.
It's coming, y'all.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Don't be scared. It won't be bad.
It would be bad if you're racist.
No, it won't be bad. Don't listen to Isaiah. But I had become friends with a lot of the teens. A lot of the teens in the church at that time were girls. I would, by happenstance, sit in the row like behind them, not even the same row as them, but there were ladies that put all their stuff in a line and like they put a purse in one chair and a pencil in the other chair and a hairbrush in the next chair so that I wouldn't sit near the girls because it's like, ooh, this is what Elijah be doing. He's that type of dude, huh? Okay, I got my eye on you. What? I got my eye on you. Stay away from them girls. You know what I'm saying? There was all that going on, but all my ministry leaders knew I wasn't tripping because it had been shared with them, and they had the place in my life to be like, Elijah, what the heck are you doing? I heard you were doing this, and I could just tell the truth. Now these other people, and no, I don't hold any bitterness with them at this point in time. I'm actually good friends with a lot of them, and I forgive it because they didn't even know who I was. But I definitely was bitter at the time. But anyway, these people, they didn't ask me, Elijah, what were you doing? What was that? They just like started acting weird to me, like, you know, blocking me out of certain areas, giving me funny looks, and I better not see you talking to you know who. And I'm like, what the? But
You didn't say nothing?
I did, and Dad was like, well, yeah, it kind of looked crazy, so there's nothing you could do about that. You'll be all right.
Then
so-
how did you explaining it work with anyone else?
What do you mean? Oh, no, but they didn't ask for an explanation.
Then explain. Why did you explain?
Why didn't I explain?
Yeah.
Because they didn't ask or care to know. If I went and talked to them, they'd be like, all right, you lying. You're just a dog, just like other teenage boys. Get out of my church.
I don't
Whatnot.
know. Maybe that's a personality thing. I don't, you know.
The country accent was invented. These
just-
people do
I
not
do not-
have strong country accents that I'm speaking about.
I don't, that's just, I wouldn't do that. I don't think I'd be like, I understand where you guys are coming from. It's like, bro.
Nah, I understand where they're coming from later.
I mean, no, it's like, I get it. So let me explain to you, because I also thought it was strange. But here's why I did it. And it actually was really good that I did that.
Yeah, but also...
Or whatever. I'm not trying to, like, you know what I'm saying? That's the one thing
But hold
for
on.
you guys to learn about me that I cannot stand to the utmost maximum is being blamed for things I ain't do. Don't ever, bro. I ain't do that. And don't say that I did. And then
Don't you ever say that I did.
But or don't
Shout out
try
Kenneth
to
Copeland.
don't try to implicate my reasonings for things, because you don't know.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you don't know. So you making assumptions. It didn't affect me at all. I'm living great now, but now I feel like I can't talk to you about things anymore, because apparently you like to jump. You're a hoppity hopper. You like hopping to conclusions,
Dang,
but that's just
like
me.
a pogo stick or something.
Bro. Like a leapfrog. You be leapfrogging from one ridiculous assumption to the next.
No, but also I was
I'm
gonna
done.
say, because you wouldn't, you probably in this situation wouldn't explain either, because the details that validate the explanation involve sensitive information about the person I was talking to, and you know, the whatever they were dealing with during that time. So I couldn't just be like, well, actually, you know what I'm saying, can't put them out there, and then these people who are ready to intervene would do too much intervention, and then annoy that girl. It's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this was happening to you, but now that Elijah told me, don't worry, man. You know what I'm saying?
I guess, but still, but I would have had to find a way, because no way.
It's true though, but that brings up a good point.
Because
There is a difference between keeping people accountable and then just doing random stuff to them because you think something's going on. Like, definitely, if you think somebody's tripping to the point where, because I can understand their concern was that I was gonna cause problems with the young teen girls who are just, you know, getting to know God and just building their relationship with God, and I would just pull them away, like those people that need to be cut off. They were trying to cut me off for them. But if you're having an observation about a person like that, ask people who know them closely. Ask people who know them closely, but that you also trust, like their ministry leaders or their parents or whoever.
right, in our case, ask our dad, bro. That's the best person you can ask.
Nah,
Pastor?
Mom.
No, don't ask mom.
Okay, no, don't
she
ask
will
Mom.
never take your side.
But yeah, I was gonna say, because she won't hold nothing. She's not gonna sugarcoat nothing. She's gonna be like, yeah, my son's terrible.
Yeah, I know, but she'll also be like, "But why you always in everyone's business?" That'd be mom.
Yeah. No, if you don't
Hurt
want to be
people's
confronted
feelings.
yourself,
Yeah,
then maybe ask
ask dad or pastor,
the gracious
Deontay,
one.
or whoever your pastor is about whoever you're trying to talk to. If you're from a different church or whatever. But yeah.
in that time, like my accountability and open conversation with people who were in ministries over me at the time and still are, some of them, that allowed them to be able to still trust me during that awkward period of time. And there were people that I could still talk to because they knew what was going on and they weren't gonna try to push me back, and it was easier on me to stay in ministry. It was easier on me to not have a problem with the church because there were people that were actually keeping me accountable and not doing crazy stuff. If you're listening and you did the crazy stuff, seriously, I hold nothing against you, bro. It's very cool. I was like 13 or 12, and I could see how it's easy to judge 13 or 12-year-olds. But at the same time, they could be having a hard time trying to live for God, and you could make it worse by doing something crazy. So definitely talk to the people that know them if you're concerned about them.
No hard feelings from Elijah. But,
hugs and kisses, y'all.
Don't do that again.
All right. Just delete it. Take it out the episode. They never have to hear that.
No. Because, you might think that you're helping, but in reality, you are not.
Which I've been there. Isaiah knows I do this often, and some of y'all others know I do this
so
often. I be trying to help, and then I'm like, bro, I had no idea what was going on. It's a thing.
Yeah, it's annoying. Fun fact. Tidbit. You know what I'm saying?
Ew.
Speak to your pastors. Get godly counsel.
Yeah.
Find those that you're accountable, who can be accountable for you. And if they're outside of any of those things, mind your business.
Dang.
You feel me? You don't need to be
not in an aggressive way, though.
No, bro. Sometimes it's like you need to actively be thinking, like, do I need to care about this?
That's true.
No?
Sometimes,
Okay.
like our parents are the pastor and pastor's wife of our church. Sometimes they be getting these confidential phone calls out of nowhere, or we be in the car or something, and they start, they got to talk to these people. I'm like, all right, wait, give me a second, put my headphones in. I'm not trying to hear this person's life before I start drawing up conclusions.
Yeah. That'd be the worst. Especially when Dad be getting calls, and I'm like, Dad, your phone's ringing. Let me see who it is. Pastor Campbell. Oh.
Here you go.
Take this.
For those of you who don't know, Pastor Campbell, we've actually mentioned him before without mentioning his name. I'm not going to tell you in what context.
All right.
I'll let you figure it out yourself.
Right.
But he's one of the leaders in our fellowship. Like he's been around. That brother is a veteran.
Yeah, for real. Legendary. If you
Hallelujah. All right, sorry. I had to
But yes, sometimes, bro, if it's none of your business, it's none of your business. Now, I say that, but, it's a struggle for everyone, even me. Sometimes, knowledge is power. But also, I don't know, have some discernment, I guess.
No one needs to have all that power. I mean, no one man should have all,
We are not referencing him.
Who is that?
Kanye.
Oh.
Goodbye, Kanye.
I want to talk about mind control.
You want to talk about the Aryan race.
Oh, my goodness.
All right.
But again, about the discipleship thing, if there are people around you and they're at where you want to be, even if they're like 50 years older than you, and you're like, oh, I want my marriage to be like that one day, or I want to be able to serve in the church like this one day, or I want to have an understanding of the word of God like them one day. If they're willing to talk to you and stuff, and y'all can find time to hang out together, include them in your circle. They'll be the people that can disciple you into being exactly the man or woman that you want to be. Facts. Like Jesus in the Bible, except they're not going to be perfect, so you can't copy everything that they do, because they really could copy Jesus and they'd be all right. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Episode 8, we talk about some of that too.
Don't even make sense.
Have your own salvation, yeah?
Yes.
Don't be relying on the salvation of others. But all right. We've reached our time for this episode.
Dang.
It's real interesting what some of the stuff we talked about. I'm not sure how much we stayed on topic. I feel like we did a pretty good job towards the end though, I guess no, like who's in your circle, being accountable.
There's some unexpected topics
Yeah.
that came up that were not in the notes.
Like
I know
mind
some
your
of y'all are
business.
mad we have notes, but you'd be madder if we just anyway,
Yeah, if you want to know what it's like with no notes, we got an episode like that, episode 1.
don't listen to it.
Go
Just
ahead.
believe it. Just believe it. Don't listen to it. Thanks.
All right, let's do the recap.
Boom.
Put the notes up so we have an accurate recap.
Oh, let's clear up these Bible verses first. Pick one.
What do you mean?
The two that we opened with.
We didn't read the first one at all, I don't think.
We did.
We read the
them
whole
both.
thing?
Yes, sir.
Word. Clear it up? What do you mean?
Like what's the final verdict on what these mean?
Oh, okay. Let's read both of them. 1 Corinthians 15:33. Evil company corrupts good habits. Evil company corrupts good habits. That means
All right, sorry.
if you're in a company, if you surround yourself with people who are not sharing in your walk with God, or they're not sharing in your desire to do right, then guess what? They're going to corrupt your good habits because you're going to be the only one. And it's hard to be the only one. So then you'll be like, well, maybe I'll just do what they're doing. And then, yeah, your good habits have been corrupted.
That's deep.
Second verse.
All right. Read this thing.
1 Corinthians 5:11. But now I have written to you not to keep company with anyone named a brother who is sexually immoral, covetous, or an idolater, or a reviler, or a drunkard, or an extortioner. That means a scammer. Not even to eat with such a person.
Shout out to all my scammers.
Don't hang with no scammers. No, what that means, that verse is saying don't hang around those who would try to make you believe that they're living right just as the way that you are, but then their lives don't reflect that, because then you can start to start thinking like, oh well, if they're saved and they can still do if they can still do all this stuff, maybe I'm also saved in the club. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, that's true. Because those
And
are
what
people.
it doesn't mean is don't hang out with any sinners because they're sinners. Ew, that makes no sense.
Right? Who are we?
Sinners.
Facts. Redeemed in the faith through Christ.
You feel me? All right. The topics, the points that we went over. Let's keep going.
Okay. What people, or when should you cut somebody off? Is a better way to say it.
When it becomes a danger.
I hit it first. I'm better. I'm smarter. I'm faster.
All right.
I am better.
When it becomes a danger to your salvation, you need to cut people off that are like, if they're actively always trying to get you to fall short of the glory of God, even though we all do that, but you are striving to be like Christ. But if now you're not even striving because they don't want you to strive, cut them people off. Facts.
Hallelujah. Yeah. Yeah. And remember to keep in mind that if there are people that you can have a strong influence on and they're not strongly pulling you away from God, or maybe you have the structure and help you need to not be pulled into stuff, and what's useful for that is accountability. Don't be afraid to have conversations with people who are unsaved, and it doesn't have to be only for work purposes, like, oh, I'm only going to talk to them if I have a flyer in my hand or if the church sent me. Like, if it's somebody who you're like, man, I could have the words to say for this person, or I could share this story that we had together and bring them to God, do not hesitate to do that. People need to get saved. We waste our time on earth as Christians if we do not associate with people who are not saved in order for them to gain that experience.
Yeah. Like
you could disciple somebody else, even as somebody who's hasn't been around super long, such as myself. Like, as if you are saved and you're living for God, there's something that they can pick up from that. That don't mean you need to be the teacher of their life, but just being around you for them might be a good influence to the point where they might make a decision for God. So yes, talk to people, man. Love them. Show them the love of God. Don't do stupid stuff with them.
Okay.
If you're married, Don't make your spouse jealous.
Yeah, facts. True. I asked my mom actually in the middle of this episode.
Hallelujah.
In a short little break, I asked her about friends and whatever, if she has any friends that are guys. Obviously, I knew what the answer was, but I was just asking her to see what her answer was. And so there's a close family friend of ours. A family
Shout
of
out to the
ours,
Blythers.
Yes.
Yes.
They the realists.
Oh, yes. I hope they
know?
hear this episode one day. I'm going to send it to Ramaj just for that.
But yes, Ramaj. Anyway, Ramaj is our homie. And obviously all his siblings and whatever and their parents. So, mom, can I say their names?
Yeah.
All right. It's Ruth and Jamar. I think it's Pastor Blyther still.
I'm not sure.
Pastor Blyther and his wife.
Yeah.
As it was. And so I asked mom, because obviously, we've known them for so long and we're all friendly, right?
Right.
They're the homies. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I asked mom, is Pastor Blyther your friend or is Pastor Blyther your friend's husband? She said, it's my friend's husband.
Got
You
him.
feel me? Because you got it. I don't know. Even obviously, my mom's solid. There's no, it's not like
If ands or buts about it.
yeah, you feel me? It's not like, gotta just make sure I set up these boundaries just in case. There's no in case.
Right.
Bro, my
Boundaries
mom is
ain't about
goated.
being weak.
Anyway, but it's just, it's a statement. It's like, you can't see what I'm doing over here. I'm
waving his hand
I'm
like he
hitting
just don't care.
That Z.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Okay. I'm glad they can't see you, actually. They're going to be like, I said, what are you doing?
All right.
Anyway.
But yeah, you get what I'm saying.
Yes.
I would hope.
Yeah, like, for example, with that person that I was kind of backing away from talking to,
Nah, I still think you did her dirty. Not gonna lie, but that's okay.
I would have loved to stay in chat if she would bring her husband along. I hated the idea that I could see the back of this dude's head because he's sitting in the front row and we're talking in the back area. He could turn around and be like, dang, what's all that loud talking and laughing about? And it's his wife talking to some random dude. I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to cause that. If she pulled up with her husband, I'd talk to them all day, but I don't want to cause stresses. Anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I will be their friend and their buddy.
No, I get what's interesting about this whole dynamic.
Dynamic in
is
life.
it our responsibility or those who are married's responsibility? Do I have to worry about this?
Both.
I don't know.
If you can worry about it for the sake of somebody who might not know better, and it would help their marriage,
Then it's not gonna help their marriage at all because she don't know.
But I don't know. She might bring it up to like, how come he wasn't talking to me? And then they'll be like, well, maybe because he don't want to make your husband feel bad. That's respect. And she'd be like, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's gotta suck because you feel like you're losing all your dang friends.
Yeah.
Either way, That's why I feel like it has to be a decision they make. It shouldn't be I'm cutting you off for your own good.
Right. And I mean, I definitely will still talk to her. I just it was just the two of us talking. We're laughing super loud. And
I mean, whatever, bro.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do.
Y'all put in the comments what you think. Do not just tell us in person and leave it alone. I will hate you forever.
Gosh. Oh gosh.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Hugs and kisses.
You could tell we're still not 100% on this topic because we're not married. We need some married people to
It's true.
speak on this.
There are important things that we'd love to talk about that aren't really right to talk about if people who don't have the experience. We only have observation and what do you call it? Conjecture?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need y'all people who have, even if you have like a certain story or a life lesson that you've learned, it's best to come from you because you got that real. So let us know through the contact options that you have available to your fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. But yeah. And
Next point, I think.
aside from the negative aspects of the people that you associate with, you can get some great positivity and influence from people who will disciple you and keep you accountable. And not just in like a work-related way, but in the way that your relationship is. They will help you out in the nature of it.
Very good.
Hallelujah. All right, sorry, my bad. It just came out What were you saying?
Is at the end.
I believe so. Secret word. Hello.
You know. Let's see. What's our secret word? Last one was sleep. It's hilarious.
Secret word is
Train.
Oh wait, Jeremiah.
Locomotive. Explosion.
Nah, train. Train is a good one. I was gonna ask Jeremiah for the secret word, but it is coming from him and these crazy things that he's doing that y'all don't see.
Train.
Train, yeah.
Train.
You don't need to be talking about that doggone vehicle. It'll be too obvious.
Yeah.
Unless you want to, I lost my train of thought when listening. Anyway, let me not give away the ideas, or training, like a training montage. Shout out Rocky.
Man, I really felt like I was under the train of his robe or whatever.
No, I don't know about that one, but
Hey, that's train. All right.
anyway, yes, y'all be creative, and thank you so much for listening, and
Yes.
thank you so much for being in the comments.
Yeah.
You're
the
loved.
best. Bye.